The Tarkir Dragonstorm Commander decks come with some really interesting exclusive cards, so I just wanted to talk about my favorite card from each. Become the Avalanche is 4 and 2 green sorcery. Draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Then creatures you control get +X until the end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. This card is part of the Temur Roar Commander deck. I love big green sorceries that draw lots of cards, and at first glance, I thought, actually, this card's not that good. There's a restriction of, the creature has to be 4 or greater power. And then the overrun style effect is actually just a pump. There's no trample or anything or evasion that comes with it. However, in the right deck, in this deck it comes in is a dragon deck. So of course, dragons have flying. So there's your evasion. And most of them have 4 power or greater. So it works perfectly there. If you have dinosaurs, which usually have like trample, it's just a cool stompy card. And I think it's one of those cards that when you see it played, whether it's in the precon, you play with it or against it, it's just going to be one of those cards that feels a lot better than it actually reads. And I think people will be impressed with it when they see it in action. Obviously, none of us have seen it in action yet, but it just feels that way. Transforming Flourish is 2 and a red, instant, demonstrate. When you cast a spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players may choose new targets for their copies. Destroy target artifact or creature you don't control. If that permanent is destroyed this way, its controller exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. Then they may cast that card without paying its mana cost. This card is from the Jeskai Striker precon. Okay, so as a removal spell, there's way better options, and this can be quite scary. I guess if you really need to, obviously you can destroy an artifact or a creature, but I see this more as a spell that I would use in my Queen Marchesa deck or any deck that's really based on politics, because basically you're going to choose an opponent and be like, okay, hey, destroy my token so I can get something for free. I'll destroy one of your tokens or something. And then you could either choose another opponent to make that deal with if you're all against the arch enemy, or you could just do it twice for the person that you let copy the spell. And I think it could be really cool in those kind of scenarios. Again, using it as removal is questionable because giving stuff for free can be a bit scary. I love the political aspects of EDH, so this card is really cool to me, but I can understand where someone would look at this card and be like, I don't want anything to do with this. I just want removal that works, or I'll find a way to cheat creatures into play or cards into play some other way. I don't want to play this, and I understand that, but for me, it's just really cool. Colossal Grave Reaver is 6, a black and a green, creature dragon, flying, 7/6. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put one of them onto the battlefield. This card is from the Sultai Arisen precon. This card will be the reason I finally put together a self-mill reanimator deck. Look, it mills cards when it enters or attacks, and then every other time you're milling cards, when one or more creatures are put into the graveyard, you're just going to put them onto the battlefield for free. This card is a card you cheat into play, and then helps you just continue to cheat creatures into play. What more could you ask for in a graveyard reanimator deck? And I think if you're playing against this card, you remove it on site, you exile it, you do not let this thing sit on the field, because the amount of advantage they're going to gain off it is just too much. So remove on site. Will of the Mardu, 2 and a white, instant, choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both instead. Create a number of 1/1 red warrior creature tokens equal to the number of creatures target player controls. Will of the Mardu deals damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control. As the name would imply, this is from the Mardu Surge Commander deck. This will likely become a token staple going forward. Being able to create tokens at instant speed for 3 mana equal to the number that a target player controls. So if you have 10 tokens, well, you make 10 more. If someone else has 20 creatures, well, you choose them and you get 20 creatures at instant speed. And then, of course, if you control your commander, you'll do both. So you can also deal damage. So if you have 10 creatures, there's 10 damage to something. So it's a removal spell packed in. I don't know that you'd use the removal spell that often without, creating the tokens. I think you'll always create the tokens unless you really, really just need to remove something and your commander's not on board, so you have to pick one. But I think this card will see a ton of play. Hopefully it's not too expensive. Will of the Abzan, 3 and a black, sorcery, choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both instead. Any number of target opponents each sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls and lose 3 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card comes from the Abzan Armor precon. Edict effects are very underrated in Commander, and I understand that a sorcery speed one isn't going to sell you on it. If you don't like Soul Shatter or Flare of Malice and stuff like that, it's a hard sell, but this is really good. And the fact that it's target opponents, means you can basically make a deal with someone, or if you have someone who's really far behind, sometimes it feels bad to cast something that affects everyone, because then the person that's really far behind just gets further behind and it's kind of a feels bad. This way, you could do the political thing and leave that person out of it. Or you can reanimate your best thing from the graveyard to the battlefield. Or if you control your commander, you could do both of these things. This card is just doing all the things you want to do. Get rid of strong creatures, make your opponents lose life, and bring your creatures back. The Tarkir Commander precon decks have a lot of interesting card designs in them. I know a lot of people dislike the made for Commander cards, but let's be real, a lot of cards are made for Commander, or at least with Commander in mind. And it's fun to take these new cards and, mix them with old cards and create some cool and interesting decks. So I'm excited for the set. It looks really cool. It feels like Magic. Everybody loves dragons, or, at least most people love dragons. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about the cards I mentioned. Do you agree with my choices? Are any of them interesting to you? Are you picking up any of the Commander precons? Until next time, thanks for watching.